so good day, second year students. This is March, and this is the video discussion for Module 1 and Module 2 of Gen 006 Ethics. Okay, so just like what I have promised you last time, here now is the video discussion for Module 1 and Module 2 of ethics. Okay, but before we go into further with our discussion of Module 1 and Module 2, I want you to look into, or I want to share with you this quotation from Aristotle. And Aristotle says that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Okay, so what does this actually mean for us? Okay, so it's not just about, getting technical with getting knowledge and, fulfilling the pursuits of your mind. Okay, but you also have to, you know, you also have to give importance in trying to educate the heart as well. So because it's not all the time that we're going to think with our minds, but we also have to do this together with thinking with our minds. We also have to think with our hearts. Okay, so when you think of something, when you are trying to decide on something, you're not just thinking with your mind, you're also thinking with your heart. Okay, so this is what it means to educate one's person. All right, you educate the mind and you educate the heart as well. Okay, all right, so for Module 1, okay, this is entitled Ethics, a Moral Philosophy, and these are the learning objectives, okay? So at the end of the lesson, you will be able to understand ethics, the concept of morality, and the existence of rules at home, school, and community. And also, you should be able to differentiate moral and non-moral standards, okay? For us to understand ethics, we have to understand philosophy first, okay? Because ethics is under the very big umbrella, or very big, yes, umbrella of philosophy, okay? And when I say philosophy, this is the science that deals with the investigation of all things in their ultimate causes and principles using the human mind or in the light of reasoning. Can you please take note of the investigation of all things in their ultimate causes and principles? Say, for instance, the concept of life, okay? And when you talk about philosophy relating to life, okay, you are going to investigate the ultimate causes and principles of life, okay? So when you say investigate the ultimate causes and principles, you look for life's, since this is our example, you look for life's ultimate causes. And these ultimate causes can include material causes, formal causes, efficient causes, and final causes. So what does these mean, okay? When you say material causes, okay, material ultimate causes, all right, you talk about the different components of that concept. Say, for instance, life. So when you ask for the ultimate cause, for the material ultimate causes of life, what are the components of life? Okay, that's how you're going to ask the question. Now, for the formal, this talks about the essence or nature. So if you're going to ask the question regarding life's formal ultimate cause, okay, you will ask the question like this, okay, what is the essence of life, or what is the nature of life? Okay, when it comes to efficient ultimate causes for life, okay, you will ask it something like this, okay, what makes up life? Okay, so if you're going to answer these questions, you are already dealing with philosophy of life because you are searching for the ultimate causes. And finally, how will you be able to ask the question for the final ultimate cause of life? Again, this is our example. Life is our example. Now you will be asking the question, what is the ultimate purpose of life? Okay, so that's how you understand philosophy. Okay, you are trying to investigate the ultimate nature and cause of all the things around you. You question their nature. Okay, you question their purpose. Okay, you question their ultimate causes. What makes it up? What's its nature? What is its purpose? Okay, what comprises it? Okay? So if you're going to ask that question into a certain concept or aspect, okay, then you are looking into the philosophy of that something. You are investigating the ultimate causes and principles using human mind or in the light of reasoning. Okay, so that's philosophy. Okay, now when we talk about ethics, okay, this is a practical philosophy that consists of fundamental issues of practical decision making. Okay, and its major concerns are the nature of ultimate value and the standards by which human actions can be judged as right or wrong. Okay, I have underlined here practical decision making. When you say practical decision making, this is, taking decisions or having opinion purposefully in all possible scenarios and evaluating it with actual decisions taken. Okay, so you're going to assess the decisions that you have made. Okay, and you are going to evaluate. All right, you are going to you will be presented with a situation. Okay, and you are going to do some possible scenarios with that situation. Okay, and you are going to evaluate yourself with actual decisions taken. Okay, because if you are going to be presented with a situation, your mind is in overdrive. You're thinking of different possible scenarios in your mind, and then when it comes to ethics, okay, you are going to do a practical decision making. And now if you do make a decision, then you will have to evaluate if that decision really, okay, coincides with the scenarios that you have made in your mind. Okay, and says here practical decision making and its major concerns on the ultimate nature, or the nature of ultimate value. Okay, and when you say nature of ultimate value, these are the abstract rules or goals transcending specific contexts and defining the utmost purposes of existence. Okay, so that's for ethics. All right. Now, for the branches of philosophy, we have actually two. All right, we have theoretical philosophy, which includes here metaphysics. Okay, and when say metaphysics, this deals with the intrinsic principles and those subjects beyond the scope of physics. It examines the nature of reality. Okay, and under the metaphysics, actually, cosmology and epistemology is under your metaphysics. And when you say cosmology, this is the philosophical study of the beginning of the world. Or in other words, this is the origin and the structure of the universe. And epistemology is also called the philosophy of knowledge. And this is, the study of the nature of knowledge. Okay? These two, cosmology and epistemology, are actually under the umbrella of metaphysics. And these three are all under theoretical philosophy. Now, for ethics, okay, this falls in practical philosophy. Okay, when you say ethics, kasi guys, this is actually an application of concepts. Okay, and when you say ethics, this is the study of moral conduct and moral judgment. And also under the practical philosophy, we have your logic. Okay, and this is the study of correct thinking, formation of arguments, and identification of fallacies. Okay, and when you say logic, say for instance, okay, when you say logic, this is an example. A premise goes like this. Okay, Anna saw a black cat on her way to work. Okay, and then at work, Anna got fired from her work. Okay, so the conclusion here, based on logic, okay, if you're going to apply logic in that situation, the conclusion will go like this: black cats are bad luck. Okay, so that's logic. All right, that's logic, and that's under practical philosophy. Okay, so again, for the branches of philosophy, we have theoretical philosophy, under which is the metaphysics, the cosmology, and epistemology. And we also have another branch, which is the practical philosophy. And under practical philosophy, we have ethics and logic. So ethics, which is our subject, okay, falls under practical philosophy. Now, what is the difference now between morality moral standard and non-moral standards. Okay, so here, when we say morality, this is the extent to which an action is right or wrong. Okay, it concerns the recognition of the inherent value of people, both ourselves and others, a value that is not reducible to how others benefit us. It is the application of the theories of ethics. And when we say morality, this is the concept of doing the right thing. Okay? This is the human attempt to define what is right or wrong. Okay, that's morality. In our pursuit, okay, of trying to do the good thing, okay, that's already morality in itself. Okay, so it goes like, if you have picked up, okay, if you found a bag full of cash, okay, and so you are presented with that kind of situation, okay, now, what's gonna be your decision regarding that bag that you have found? And that will compel you to think of doing the good thing, and that's already the concept of morality. Okay, the fact that you are trying to think of the good thing to do, okay, that's the concept of morality. Okay, so uh yeah, it might sound easy to understand it like that, but believe me, guys, philosophers have been thinking of what morality really is. Because when you say morality, all right, you are talking about good and bad, right or wrong, just or unjust. And when you talk about morality, you think about the good things, you think about the right things, you think about the just things. Okay, but basically, guys, the question here is, what is good? What is right? What is just? What constitutes a good action? What constitutes a right action? What constitutes a just action? Okay? So for you to be able to understand the concept of morality, you have to understand what is good, what is right, and what is just. Okay, so when you say good is a very subjective word. Okay, when you say good it's very subjective. Okay, and when you say good can mean good food, chocolates are good. Okay, sleep is good, playing games and hanging out with friends is considered good. Okay, all right, but a list of things we personally find to be good doesn't offer much help in understanding morality. Okay, so we need the baseline of fundamental ideas in order to shape our understanding of goodness. So what is necessary for something to be good? What is considered good? Okay, it says here, something good has five components: pleasure, happiness, excellence, creativity, and harmony. If you fulfill those 5 points, then you will know the concept of good. Okay? So without pleasure, okay, nothing can be truly enjoyable. In order for anything to be good, we must enjoy it. Okay, but of course it doesn't mean that if it's really pleasurable that it's good. Okay, we have to understand that there are long-term ramifications and that we can impact others with our pursuit of pleasures. Okay, so what kind of pleasure are the philosophers talking about here? Okay, so that can only be certainly be a pleasure to some, but what happens if you enjoy too many of those kinds of pleasures? Okay, well, say for instance for coffee, okay, that's considered a pleasure in the morning because if you drink coffee, it's like, it's a good feeling. All right. But what if other people don't have the means to have coffee? Does that mean they don't enjoy pleasures in life? Okay. How about happiness? Okay, we all wish to be happy. All right, we all wish to be happy. Okay, but then if the concept of happiness doesn't necessarily mean that it only applies to you. Okay, whatever you feel, whatever things that makes you feel happy doesn't mean it's gonna be applicable to others as well. No. Okay? We have our different concepts of happiness. Okay? Excellence, okay, this is a higher form of pleasure that leads to a deeper satisfaction in life, okay? Take movies, for example. We all have our favorites, but we can certainly acknowledge that there are some films that are really very good. However, there are some that stand out as excellent. Okay? Creativity. When you become creative, you experience the opportunity to create. Okay? Even if that which they create is another being through procreation. Creativity is considered a necessary element within the defined definition of goodness. Okay? Harmony. Okay? The point for harmony is that you define something good if it's harmonious, if its relationship with others is harmonious. Okay? We must all be able to have the chance to enjoy our pursuits of pleasure, happiness, excellence, and creativity. Without harmony and peace, we have very little chance to experience any of the other elements of goodness. So, ibig sabihin yan, guys, even if we experience pleasure, even if we experience happiness, even if we experience excellence, okay, and creativity, if it doesn't fall harmoniously or it doesn't relate to each other harmoniously, without harmony, okay, you cannot really truly enjoy the goodness of what life has to offer. Okay, so that's the concept of morality. You try to think of what the good things that is applicable to anybody. What is pleasurable for yourself? What makes you happy? What makes other people happy? Okay? What is good for you? What is good for other people? That's the concept of morality. Okay? And you are always trying to think of the good things to do to other people, and that's already the concept of morality. Okay? The moment you are presented with a situation and you are always thinking of the good thing to do in that situation, then that is already morality. That is already, in pursuit of goodness, in pursuit of the concept, the true concept of morality. Okay? So that's what you mean by morality. Now, for moral standard, these are norms, okay, we have about the types of actions which we believe to be morally acceptable or morally unacceptable. This actually deals with matters that can seriously injure or benefit human beings. So when you talk about moral standards, we talk about those that can, seriously harm other people or seriously benefit the human being. Let's say, for example, rape, fraud, slander, murder, to protect life, no cheating. Those are moral standards. Okay? So, if someone kills a person, that falls under the moral standard. Is it a morally acceptable behavior? Okay? For non-moral standards, these are norms that are unrelated to moral or ethical considerations such as etiquettes, fashion standards, rules in the game, house rules, and legal statutes. Okay, these rules are not necessarily linked to morality, though they can be ethically relevant depending on the circumstances. Okay, when you say non-moral standards, let's say, for example, um, eating, okay, or dining etiquette for different places, for example, okay. So when you talk about etiquette or dining etiquette in different places or different countries, okay, we have different dining etiquettes based on the country, okay. So let's say, for example, in China, okay, you should leave food on your plate. Okay? Diba? It's contrary to what we believe in our country we're in. Dapat ubusin mo yung kinain mo. Okay? Kasi sasabihin ng mga ibang tao, sasabihin ng mga parents natin, maraming mga batang hindi na kumakain. Okay? So you have to finish your food. But it's actually rude in China if you finish your whole plate. Okay? Because finishing your plate daw when dining at someone's home in China suggests that the food was not filling enough. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya nakakabusog. Okay? And that your host was skimping on the portion size. Ibig sabihin, tinitipid ka daw ng iyong host. That's why, naubos mo daw yung pagkain kasi hindi daw ang ibig ko sabihin, parang hindi ka nabubusog dun sa kinain mo, kaya naubos mo siya lahat, and that connotates to your host of, your host not giving you a lot, okay, on the portions, okay? So, dapat daw, kapag nasa China at may mga handaan daw, dapat, nag-iiwan ka daw ng a little bit of food on your plate, because that signifies that you think of your host as very hospitable. You think that to show, it's for you to show the host that their meal was filling and satisfying. O, di ba? Those are not under the moral standards. Hindi ka naman papatayin pag ganun, alright? But they are considered to be, they fall under the non-moral standards. And you, as a newcomer to that kind of culture, you have to abide to that culture. Okay? How about in Japan? Okay? They say in Japan, if you eat your noodles, you have to slurp it. Okay? You have to slurp your noodles when you eat ramen in Japan, okay? Because that signifies that you really like the food, okay? If you're loud, okay, when you slurp your noodles, it means that it gives an impression to the cook that you really like what they have prepared for you. So those are not examples of non-moral standards. Okay, so again, when you say moral standards, these are matters that can actually seriously harm or benefit human beings. So theft or rape or fraud, those are moral standards. But when you say non-moral standards, the fashion statements falls here. Rules in the game, etiquettes, okay, proper etiquettes, these are non-moral standards. Okay? Alright. So why do we need rules? Okay, I mentioned there that when you say non-moral standards, it includes rules, house rules, community rules, rules of the games. Okay, so why do we need rules? Okay, rules regulate unwanted or harmful behavior and to encourage wanted or beneficial behavior of individual society members. Okay, so rules are specific sets of norms of behavior and a prescribed guide for conduct or action useful in guiding and monitoring the interactions of humans in a society. Sabi nga nila, it's gonna be chaotic if there are no rules in society. If we all follow what we wanted to do and if we all followed what we like to do, then there's gonna be anarchy. There's gonna be chaos. Okay? And we need the rules in order for us to regulate unwanted or harmful behavior. Okay? Because certain bad behaviors, if we have rules, then we will be able to show that unwanted and harmful behavior has certain consequences. Okay? And those consequences, if you do something, if you do a harmful behavior, if you exhibit a harmful behavior, and you get a specific you get punished for that, okay? And this gives an example to other people not to do that action anymore. Okay, so those are rules. Even in the classroom we have rules, because if you don't set rules, okay, everybody's gonna follow what they wanted to do. Okay, there's gonna be no order. Okay, there's gonna be chaos, there's gonna be anarchy. Okay, everybody will tell what they wanted to tell, even without taking into consideration the feelings of other people. Okay, so rules is not just to regulate unwanted behavior, but this is also for us to be, to put checks or to check on our morality. Okay, we need rules in order for us to check on our morality. Okay, does this rule coincide with the concept of morality? Okay, so that's the reason why we need rules. Okay, we need rules because it sets or it regulates unwanted or harmful behavior. Okay? And that concludes my discussion for Module 1. Okay, that's Module 1. Alright, so let's move on to Module 2. Okay, so this is moral experiences and dilemmas. Okay, so for moral experiences and dilemmas, here are your lesson objectives. So at the end of the lesson, you will be able to contemplate the existence of moral dilemma, and you should also be able to find solutions to dilemmas common among students. Okay, now when we talk about a moral experience, all right, this is an experience of moral values, okay, that the moral values such that one's moral consciousness comes to work as one is called to make a moral response, okay. So that's according to Van Tongeren, okay. And when you say moral experience, this is compelling us to, when we get presented with a situation, we are being compelled to do what's the right thing to do, and that certain experience wherein you are trying to think of the best and good thing to do is already a moral experience. Okay, meaning to say, you experience a situation wherein your moral consciousness will have to decide, and that's already a concept of moral experience. Okay, so according to Van Tongeren, okay, when he presented some points when it comes to moral experience. So sabi niya, a moral experience puts our moral consciousness to work. Whether it's the arousal of moral consciousness that results in the occurrence of moral experience or the reverse is hardly the point at issue here. Okay? So if you are in a situation, if you have been put in a situation, and then your moral consciousness are working in order for you to do the best course of action. Okay? So that constitutes a moral experience. You found a bag with a lot of cash. Okay? That's the situation. Now, it becomes a moral experience when you are now trying to decide the morally good thing to do with that bag of cash. Okay? If you are having thoughts, if you are trying to decide what's the best and good thing to do with that bag of cash, that already constitutes a moral experience. Okay? Kapag ka talagang nag-iisip ka na, okay? Parang nagkakaroon ka ng mga internal battle, okay? On what's the good thing to do in this kind of situation, then that already constitutes a moral experience. Another, Van Tongeren also said that a moral experience is an experience of moral value. Okay, moral value refers to the quality of something being good or bad, right or wrong, and just or unjust. Now, you are in a situation where you found a bag of cash and you are trying to decide the best course of things to do with that bag. Okay, now you come to decide on the specific course of action. You decide to surrender the bag to the authorities. Now, when you say when you this comes, the moral value comes in. Okay, is that really a morally good thing to do? Okay, does that decision, okay, coincide with your own concept of morality? Okay, it differs from other types of values because it demands for a response. It involves moral responsibility and it defines both the action and the human agent. So, kung ano man ang mapagdesisyonan mo, okay? If you have been presented with that kind of situation and you decided upon that situation, okay? You will be, you will be judged on the moral value of that decision. Okay? Was it really good to decide on that like that? Is it the just thing to do to decide things like that? Okay? That's a moral experience. Another point that you have pointed out, okay, a moral experience, which is an experience of moral value, defines us. So sabi daw, kapag ka binigyan ka ng situation na ganyan, you decided on that or you decided on what's the best thing to do for that, then that decision, that moment, okay, that moment that you decided to do something about that situation, now that will define you, okay. So it will define you as a person, you as a human being, okay. You decided to return the bag of cash to the authorities, okay. And then the authorities commended you for a job well done. That defines you as a human being. So you will be branded as an honest person, okay. You will be branded as a hero, okay. So that will define you, that moment that you decided to return the cash onto the authorities. You did the right thing, okay. You did the morally good thing, okay. And that's already going to define you as a person, okay. Either we are drawn towards an action because of the good that we sense in it, or we sense the good because of our own value or that goodness that is in us. Dalawa lang yan, okay. You are doing good because you know that it's the right thing to do. Or you do good because you know the sense of satisfaction, the sense of goodness that you will feel once you do that. Okay? So, dalawa lang yan. Gumagawa ka ng mabuti kasi, okay, you do good because you really know that it's the good thing to do and it's the right thing to do. Or you do good because you know that if you do that particular good thing, okay, it will give you a sense of satisfaction and a sense of goodness. Okay, you will be branded as someone who is good. Okay, fourth point being pointed out by Van Tongeren. Okay, moral experience is not a one-time, but it's an ongoing, continuous process. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yan, if you're going to be presented again with that kind of situation, alright? So, it will compel you again are you gonna consistently do that kind of thing? Or are you gonna consistently follow the concept of your concept of morality? Okay, by choosing to tell the truth, one becomes honest insofar as that instance is concerned. Every experience demands thinking and decision making, and there can be no universal formula to solve every moral dilemma. Hence, every moral situation calls for our rational deliberation and affirmation of our humanity. Okay? And fifth, okay, moral experience touches on and brings in one's moral ideas. Kapag ka nagkaroon ka ng moral experience, if you are put in a situation that allows you to have a moral experience, okay, it will, it will touch on your moral ideas. It will let you evaluate if ito bang alam ko sa morality ay tama o hindi. Okay? Our moral ideas pertain to what are believed to constitute a life that is worthy of humans. Kapag gagawa ako ng mabuti, I would have a life that is worthy of humans. Okay? So those are the points being pointed out by Van Tongeren. Okay? And lastly, okay, by the way, moral experience is action-oriented. Okay? We feel compelled to respond and to respond personally and right away. If you are being presented with a situation wherein you will need to decide to do the right thing, okay, that constitutes a moral experience that is action-oriented. Okay? If you are already compelled to do the right thing, then that constitutes a moral experience. The demands of morality do not allow for holidays or strategic retreat. Ibig sabihin yan, walang pahinga ang paggawa ng moral experience. Okay? Or walang pahinga ang paggawa ng mabuti sa ibang tao. Sa iyong sarili at sa ibang tao. Walang pahinga yan. Okay? Now, Sometimes, okay, if we are being presented with a situation and that situation puts us in a very difficult position, especially if you are going to choose something, then that falls under what we call dilemma. Okay? This is wherein an agent is confused about the right decision to make because there are several competing values that are seemingly equally important and urgent. Okay? So this is a point in a person's life wherein a difficult choice must be made between two or more alternatives, two or more equally important alternatives. Okay? Chocolate or cheese? Vanilla or chocolate? Okay? Hot or cold? Okay? Pero gusto mo kasi both. Right? So, ano na lang to? Lukewarm. Okay? Alright, so that's a dilemma. Okay? Now, for personal dilemmas, examples are this. If your parents are separated, you must decide either you live with your father or mother or live away from them. Okay, so that's a non-moral issue. This is very much common among um, kids nowadays. Okay, if you talk to kids nowadays, all right, and you talk and you ask about their family situation, okay, they are torn between these parents that have separated. Okay, either I mean, are you going to choose between your mom or your dad, or are you not going to choose any of them and instead live away from them? Okay, another example is that someone deciding whether to let his family starve or steal bread from someone else, then that falls under a moral issue. Okay, steal and let your family eat, or do not steal and let your family starve. Okay, personal dilemmas. Okay, we cannot exactly judge a person's action if that person is experiencing personal dilemmas, especially if we haven't experienced it by ourselves. Okay, bawal judgmental, sabi nga nila. Pero kasi if we're going to apply the concept of morality here, okay, sasabihin natin, lalo na dito sa example letter B, okay, ang morally good thing to do here is to not steal. Okay, this is a moral dilemma between steal and not stealing. Okay, but there are certain consequences if he chose one side of the coin. Okay, there are ramifications that's going to happen. Do not steal, but the family will starve. Steal, but steal and the family will not starve. Okay, those are just examples of personal dilemmas being experienced by other people. Okay, now for moral dilemmas, okay, this is an individual can choose only one from a number of possible actions, and there are compelling ethical reasons for the various choices. Okay, and when we say moral dilemma, here are the crucial features, okay, of a moral dilemma. Number one is that the agent is required to do each of two or more actions. Okay, just like on the example. Okay, the agent is required to do each of two or more actions. Another crucial feature is that the agent can do each of the actions, but the agent cannot do both or all of the actions. Okay, so the first crucial feature is that the agent can both do each of the actions. So yung nauna kanina, okay, let me just go back to the example, okay? So in this dilemma, okay, in this moral dilemma, okay, siguro let's say this is the father, okay? The father can choose between the two things he's trying to decide on what to do. So ibig sabihin, pwedeng mag-steal siya or pwedeng hindi mag-steal siya. So yun ang sinasabi dun sa Yun ang sinasabi doon sa unang crucial feature, okay? The agent can do both, okay? I mean, the agent can do each of the actions. Ibig sabihin, pwede niyang gawin yung isa, pwede niya rin yung gawin yung isa, okay? Another crucial feature of a moral dilemma, okay? Hindi niya pwedeng gawin yung dalawang action na yon. So, hindi pwedeng mag-steal at hindi mag-steal at the same time yung father, okay? And another crucial feature is that the agent thus seem condemned to moral failure no matter what he does. He will do something wrong or fail to do something that he ought to do. So, kahit parang ang sinasabi dito guys, kahit anong gawin ng taong nasa or nag-undergo ng moral dilemma, okay? Parang he will still do something wrong. Okay? Whatever the father will choose, it's either to steal, okay, and the family will eat, will not starve, or the the father will not steal, but his family will die of starvation. Okay? So whatever the person or whatever the father decides to do, okay, mali pa rin ang magiging result. And that is a moral dilemma. Okay? That's a moral dilemma. And these are the three crucial features of a moral dilemma. I'm so sorry for the rain, guys. I cannot stop my discussion. Okay? So, alright, that's actually the end of our discussion. Okay, so let me just share a quotation from May Sarton. Okay, the moral dilemma is to make peace with the unacceptable. Okay, so yung father kanina, based on our example, he has to do one of the two possible scenarios or possible things that he's going to do. He has to do one of those. And he has to accept that whatever he chooses to do, okay, there is something wrong that's going to happen because of the result of it. Okay? There's something wrong that's going to happen because of the result of it. Alright? So thank you very much, my dear students, okay? I'm really sorry for the rain. It suddenly rained so hard right now, okay? And that concludes our discussion for Gen 002 Module 1 and Module 2. So thank you very much for listening and watching our video. Till our next discussion. Goodbye, guys!